Yeah, there's a few people, so they're not, there's all children. It start very simply put, human beings are lighter than air transport, like balloons. That means hot air, hydrogen or helium. If you're brave enough to put hydrogen in a balloon, rather explosive gases. Gliders were done quite early, George Cayley and his famous gliders. But what eluded human beings was an engine light enough and powerful enough to propel propellers. So you now have heavier than air, powered flight in a means of control to make the contraption go where you want it to, not where Mother Nature pushes it to, like a balloon. So in a balloon, the gusts of wind will blow you off way where it wants you. So the Wright brothers at Kitty Hawk in America were December 17, 1903, and Orville Wright took off and flew the staggering distance of the length of a Boeing 747 and put it on the beach. So what happened then, basically, was that Wilbur Wright then took it up the next bit, and then Orville, the last flight of the day, that's 3 flights over 900 feet. It was proved that human beings can get into a contraption and fly through the air. Right, so basically what we need to do now is to turn it. Does it turn? Yes, because you can't just go in the same direction all the way. Yes, it does turn. The world noticed this, and many people started to build aircraft worldwide, copied it. Britain was falling behind. Italy and France were doing very well. If you look at Farman Brothers, Valerio, and people like that, were actually producing very good aircraft. Britain did catch up a little bit with a firm called Avro, a famous Lancaster and Vulcan name, and Avro stands for Elliott Verdon Roe. He was the man who started the firm. Elliott Verdon Roe, Avro for short. Well, you couldn't say Elliott Verdon Roe Aviation, it's better to be called Avro, I would think, it's a little bit shorter. Right, so basically the rule book was written, and it didn't take long before human beings said, hang on, you can make a weapon out of this so-called contraption. How do you make a weapon out of it though? One thing it can do is give you a greater field of view than standing up a tree, on top of a tree and over a hill. You're right up here, you can look for the First World War idea where the trench lines are of the German forces and guns, and they do the same thing. And the first known dogfight between two aircraft doing exactly that, with a pilot and an observer in, a big plate camera, drawing maps, British guns over there, better watch it. They got very close to each other and both sides shot at each other with their pistols. Nobody hit anything. It didn't take long though before technicians and engineers decide to put machine guns on the nose or on the top of the wing and start to aim at each other and shoot the other one down. The age of the fighter is now born. It's actually not called a fighter in air forces, it's called an aerial weapons platform, which doesn't sound as good as a fighter, of course. And of course bombers. You can actually arm a bomber. You have a milk crate with handheld bombs, screw the fuse in and drop it. Bang! Oh, there you go. I've missed, go around again. And then you can carry bombs under aircraft. In fact, aircraft killed the battleship era, stone dead. Battleships in the First World War and the Second World War, of course, the big gun battleships. I will give you the Arizona, which was blown in half and killed 1,100 men, I think it was, around that region with a bomb off a Japanese bomber that went straight through the deck into one of the magazines and blew up the shells. Tirpitz broken in half by a Lancaster bomber's Grand Slam bomb, and 4 Japanese carriers sunk at Midway by dive bombers. It goes on and on and on. Bismarck damaged by a rather slow, sedate flying swordfish, dropping a torpedo, damaging its rudder and propeller. So you can see the battleship era is over. Aviation is the king at sea now. Actually, a French general actually said, aircraft will be no benefit to warfare. I think he was a little bit wrong. So, what we're going to do, the First World War people tore up the rule book to this day. Yes, we've got fancy computers now. but it's still the same thing. It's still a Mark 1 eyeball for so long, Mark 1 brain, the best computer on the planet. And what you have is thrust, you have drag, you have lift, and you have weight. Get all 4 correct, you fly. Get one of those wrong, you're not flying. You're a brick, aerodynamic brick. The next thing to worry about is Mother Nature. She's your second enemy, she don't care. When you talk to fly, you can go up there, and she's permissive with you flying using air. But if you go too slow, you'll just go. If you go too high an angle of attack, we call it, you'll fall out of the sky, and she doesn't care. So Mother Nature lets you go up there, but she's not forgiving. You don't go on the sea in a force 10 gale in a little dinghy. Not a good idea. So we now have 2 enemies. The Luftwaffe, which is literally German for Air Force. Luft is air, Waffe is force. Called the RAF, the British Luftwaffe. I prefer Royal Air Force. You've got to learn the art of the dogfight. He's already got multiple kills. He's destroyed the Polish Air Force, the Norwegian, the Dutch, the Belgian and French Air Forces wiped out by this state-of-the-art fighter, which is actually the highest scoring set of fighters in history, aviation history to this day. Over 50,000 kills by the various Messerschmitt model fighters. They've taken out all the air forces. They're just on the other side of the English Channel, and they're going to take out the British Luftwaffe, according to Goring, within 6 weeks. And then thereafter, invasion will occur. He promised, I think, 4 to 6 weeks to Hitler. Thankfully, there were 2 trains of thought in World War II, before World War II. The train of thought was for Hawker Aviation, to build the Hawker Hurricane, by far the largest, biggest asset during the Battle of Britain in terms of shoot-downs. Some say as high as 70%, definitely as high as 60 to 65%, could even be 70% of the kills was down to the Hawker Hurricane. There were far more of them. And it is a very formidable aircraft in the right hands. That's what Adolf Gordon said after the Battle of Britain. Do not underestimate Sir Sidney Cam's masterpiece. However, Reginald Mitchell had also designed the Spitfire, which is an more or less old metal. There were some Irish linen covered bits, but she's a harder aircraft to make, so it took longer to produce. And of course, there were far more Hurricanes during the Battle of Britain than there were Spits. But later on, there were over 22,000 Spitfires built by the end of war. Now, basically, you've got to take on this guy who's a fighter ace, by this young man who might be on as little as 7 to 10 hours training on type. You've learnt to fly on an Avro 504, Tiger Moth, then you go to the second stage, which is a Harvard advanced trainer, and then the Harvard to the Spitfire with no simulators, no 2-seat Spitfires. You just got to learn out of the blue book and an instructor telling you what to do. Then you take it up and you're coming up against this guy. Adolf Galland done multiple kills already, and a variety of other pilots. Mr. Pips Priller had many kills across Europe, and you're going to take on the likes of their fighter aces that they call the Experten. They didn't call them aces. And you're going to die today because you're going to get it wrong. And the idea is they use finger 4, there it is, 4 loose formation, 4 there, 4 there, 4 there, in exactly those positions. He's the wing leader, wing men. He sends a friend down in front of you, you chase him. He puts side slip into it, what we call side slip into the dive. He cannot get the gun solution onto you, you can't get the gun solution on him, you're now fixated with the kill. But his other team partner's gone up into the sun, broken out the formation, he's coming out the sun, you can't see into the sun or from beneath. And there's cannon rounds in your aircraft and you don't know where it's from. Oh dear. Half a day out with the Undertaker, at best. If you're found. If you've splashed into the English Channel, that's you. If you've bailed out into the English Channel, it's still you. You're gone. Because air sea rescue didn't exist that well back then, and the water temperature is not a very good idea to be in. Believe me, many young fighter pilots would perish just floating about. Right, so you don't want to be doing that, so I'm going to tell you how to do it properly now, and what they decided to do is this. Let this guy go. He's got a lot of energy in the dive, but he can come back on you with that energy. His energy is life in a dogfight, they say. So, forget him for a moment. I'm now your wingman. Say that's another Spitfire. Never fly straight and level in the combat area, because you're predictable. If you don't know what's beneath, have a look, roll it. It's not going to bend. Have a look at it, go away. Manoeuvre the aircraft about. Because even the Red Baron said in the First World War, if I saw a Royal Flying Corps pilot flying lovely and straight and level, and he hadn't seen me, I'd go, oh, I'll have him. Yeah, lovely day, isn't it? He said, I'd go into the sun, or behind a cloud, or slash attack from underneath. I don't have to dogfight him. It's an easy kill. Gone. Paint another kill marking on his tail. If I saw one flying aggressively, looking around, whacking it around, changing altitude, suddenly change position, you're not a solution for the gun. Oh, where's he going now? What's he doing? He's an ace. I'm going to not die today. I'm not taking him on. That's what he said. Be aware. So, we're going to do it a different way now, saying that's another Spitfire. Watch him go. Keep an eye on him. Your pal up here can have a look at that, because they're now working. Because you're looking after my back. You're talking to each other as a team. It's vital you do. It's a shooting war. So, let him go. I watch for his pal come in, whether it be out of the sun or from beneath. I attack him. Somebody gets on my tail. Get out of there. And then you attack him. Get the point? You're now working as a team, because the kill ratio has to be 4 to 1 just to keep pace. Because Israel's Air Force is much larger than ours. So that's including the bombers, 4 to 1 kill ratio. Now the only problem is with the Spitfire and Hurricane, you're firing 303 rounds, which is that, 8 machine guns and all of 14 seconds of ammunition. Forget Hollywood and video games, all day ammunition, it's 14 seconds, you're finished, you're empty. You can go and harass them, or take your boots off and throw it at them if you wish, but that's about all you can do. Being a presence is probably good, because it will upset the bombers. You know, even if you're empty of ammunition, you don't need to go straight back. Your fuel range is your one common denominator. So, you're shooting that at them, but the Messerschmitt's shooting that back at you. 20mm cannon rounds. So later on, the Mark V Spitfire in 1941 gained cannon and machine gun, because they had cannon and machine gun in the war, in the Battle of Britain. There is a difference. That's called a full metal jacket bullet. That means the lead inside the bullet is very heavy. A nickel jacket over the lead, because lead leaves lead tracing in a barrel because it's soft, and if you fire thousands of a few rounds, it would jam quickly. So you need a nickel jacket or copper jacket over the lead. Makes sense? And that keeps the barrel that bit cleaner. Still have to clean it. That's how it works. Cannon rounds are totally different. That blows up when it gets there. That nose gets compressed. No, well, you jump and go off, isn't it? That's incendiary. That sets fire to things, usually phosphorus and magnesium, and that is armour piercing. That will definitely penetrate the old-fashioned steam engine boilers, submarine skin, ship's hulls easily, or 20mm of armour, which is about that, 3/4 of an inch, and destroy an aircraft easily. So, now you have to learn deflection shooting, which means your bullet has a flight time. That is doing 1,400 miles an hour, the speed of Concorde. But if you're in a turning war, which you surely will be, you're not going to be sat there straight and level. You shoot at him, even at that range, you're not going to hit him. He's gone before the bullets arrive. So you have to outturn the enemy, shoot into space where they're going to be in the future. Called fall of shot, lead. If you doubt that, I'll look at it from the old-fashioned torpedo days, when torpedoes weren't homing and didn't have computers. If you fire directly at that juicy ship, oh dear. So you have to fire ahead of it to get the interception of where it's going to be in the future. Clay pigeon shooter shoots 18 inches ahead of the clay to give the pellets time to get that. Does that make sense? Yeah, of course. Great. Right, so where we're going now, we've done deflection shooting. We know that, unless you're Polish. We said, what's this nonsense? Flying 200 yards behind it and shooting at it. on 400 yards, like it said in some fighter books. We think 40 feet's adequate. That's what we're doing. And preferably a plan attack. There's more to hit on a plan than there is on a tail. So fire, 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 get out of there, and that's fall of shot. That's how vital it is, because your job is to go and shoot down enemy aircraft. That's it at the end of the day. Not to squirt Kent and Essex with a load of bullets. Your also job is to shoot them down over the near waters of the English Channel, over the countryside of Kent and Essex, because if you drop a Hangar bomber loaded up with £500 bombs into Caterham or Stevenage or somewhere else, it's going to take out a lot of that term. And you're bringing about the same results as they're trying to achieve. Yes, they've lost an airframe. Yes, they've lost the crew if they've bailed out or whatever. Nonetheless, the damage is done. So that's why Kent and Essex have a lot of ponds, little round ponds in them, and lots of nice wildlife nowadays, thankfully. I think you heard the funny stories, didn't you? Yeah, that's fine. But that's your basics, and the kill ratio did get good, but nobody could have flown this without the females involved. The production of the Spitfire, weapons of all kinds of aircraft, and the radar girls. Why do you put ladies on radar? Simple. They're good at multitasking and they're excellent focusers. Just hang on a second. They're excellent at focusing, and they found out with men we are easier distracted. Would you agree, guys? Yeah. Because they found with females, their job is to put this young man with his 35 minutes of fuel. Do you guys want to come back? Oh, are you flying with Andy?
No.
Okay, do you want to have a sit in a minute? I'll do another combat.
Yeah, good.
So, your job is to put this young man with his 35 minutes of fuel at the target. If you miss by 2 minutes, they've taken out half of Stevenage or Dagenham. You have caused the death of British men, women and children by not focusing, and I'll tell you why. They found out with ladies, they're looking down a radar screen, a tiny little thing called a cathode tube, ray tube, a television. It's a black screen with a white line. Your job is to monitor that for half an hour on, half an hour off, half an hour on, half an hour off. By the way, I am not knocking male air traffic controllers worldwide. They do a heck of a good job. They wouldn't be behind a screen if you couldn't do it. But there's lots of ladies as well in National Air Traffic Services. Vital, because they're good at what they do. So, they're looking down this tiny little tube, you're looking for interference above the line, and it'll be 40 plus bandits, Angels 1A, 80,000 feet, steering 350, will enter the UK over Dungeness. So you send the nearest fighter attack squadron at it. Because you've only got 35 minutes of fuel in this. He hasn't got time to go swanning around, as they called it, looking for it. So it's 10 minutes to altitude to get above them, 10 minutes through a ding-dong, and 10 minutes to get back to refuel and rearm, because you're going for a gunfight 5 or 6 times today, not once. No going down the pub for a game of darts and a pint straight after your dogfight. You're going up from dawn till dusk, because they're going to keep coming. They want air superiority. They want to invade the UK, and they want to kill the British bulldog, as Hitler said. Well, actually, it was Himmler. So they found this with ladies, males in general. Farnborough testing on simulator. 10 minutes in, 50, nothing going on deliberately. Nice quiet morning. Hiya Sid, how are you doing? Yeah. How do you go on at Leeds United? Oh, I'd have had that player off, would you? Yeah, terrible. Oh my God, there's a raid. Raid, you've lost in 2 minutes. That means the difference between Caterham being destroyed and not. Because you're talking about that football match, being a football managing expert, you've killed British men, women and children, because you haven't got time to get there. They did this, the ladies. And please don't think I'm knocking male out, they're very good. They won't be behind the screen. Cup of tea, Flo? Yeah, put it up with. Thank you. Knitting as well. Multitasking, getting bored, so they're doing some knitting. I can't knit, by the way. Like that. Cup of tea, yeah. How do you go on at the party? Oh yeah, great party, yeah. Yeah, that's good. Right, yeah, I'll do paperwork, yeah, put it there, they won't take their eyes off it. It's their job. You need to give that young man as much time as he can to get to target, shoot them down and get the hell out of there to get back. One bit of distraction costs him his life and a town disappears. Oh dear. You've got to shoot them down, as I said, over the water or over the countryside. Don't drop them into a town, and whatever you do, never get complacent. Change attitude, altitude, roll it about, don't become predictable, because if you see black spots out there, that can hit you. Many young men died. Simple as that. There's a lot of ordnance flying around in the sky. But these were swarm attack. Without those ladies on traffic control, fighter control, you wouldn't have had the success we did, because Britain had the best world's air defence system the world had ever seen. All down the east coast, all down the south coast, radar guidance, 20-minute warning. But radar does not shoot down aircraft. You're the last link in the chain. This young man often said, when they were elderly gentlemen, we didn't win the Battle of Britain, Britain won it. The backup ladies, the people who engineered it, the people who designed it, the fuelers, the armourers, everybody had to put their part together. Does that make sense? Of course it does. 90 people under a Spitfire pilot back then, including the construction and the fueling and the paint and everything else, science. The scientists who do the petrol, the scientists who make the propellant for this. So, 90 people under one pilot. It's the same, now it's thousands under a jet fighter pilot. Meteorology, metallurgy, electronics, avionics, it goes on and on and on, just to put one pilot in a cockpit to go. So think of that. It's a lot of people. Like I say, I've told you about the cannon round nowadays. A Gatling cannon, did you hear that earlier? A Gatling method, and the name comes from Richard Jordan Gatling, 1860, invented the world's first machine gun. I think you remember me saying that. A bit of a lad, he supplied the Union Army and the Confederate Army. Didn't mind who he supplied it to. Nowadays, as I say, it's electrically driven with what looks like a starter motor, and it doesn't sound like it goes. You just squirted 30 of those out. You have about 8 seconds worth in a fighter. Did you hear that bit? Yes, I think you did. About 8 seconds worth in the average jet fighter. But believe me, a quarter of a second is far more than enough at that rate of fire. So you've just blown an aircraft to bits, because they blow up when they get there as well. That's before using missiles, of course. Right, okay, so thanks for listening. I think you heard the funny story bits. And I'll just let you crack on, and I'll just have a chat with these guys. Is that okay?
I did that down at you.
So what do you want to fly?
Oh, I'll be street fly, guys.
Fast jet or? Yeah, well done, well done, well done. Right, just, did you want to go through this? Because you...
So what's wrong with it? Yeah, nice. I'm planning on making it an old-fashioned, a very small transmitter, and put some MP3 music through the transmitter. You tune in on this thing, on the real